Mabuhay! My name is Fred Dossel with Mabuhay Credit Union, and it is my pleasure to welcome you all back to Mabuhay Community Corner. If you haven't visited with us before, this is a vlog and a podcast that aims to highlight and to honor our Mabuhay community. Here with us virtually today is Consul Dyan Miranda Pastrana from the Philippine Consulate General in Los Angeles. Daghang salamat, Consul Dyan, for visiting with us here today. How are you?
I'm good, Fred. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, absolutely. It's definitely our pleasure to have you represent the consulate and at the Mabuhay Community Corner. Now, speaking of the consulate, right? What does the Philippine Consulate General of Los Angeles cover? And how many Filipinos do you represent? I know there's over 4 million Filipinos across the U.S.
Yes, thank you for asking that. The Philippine Consulate General in Los Angeles covers Southern California, Southern Nevada, and Arizona. We have jurisdiction over 1.3 million Filipinos and Filipino Americans. So we have the largest concentration of Filipinos in all of the Americas.
Wow. Yeah, that's definitely a significant number of that. I think last number I saw was just about 4.5 million throughout the U.S. Right? So that's just about a fifth. That's amazing. Now, what are some of the consular services that the consulates provide to our community, our kababayans out here?
So for our services, we offer, of course, passport application, consular notarization of documents, dual citizenship. We also have um, SSS services. These are the services that require online appointment. So we also have services which are rendered by mail. So that's civil registry, that is reports of birth, marriage, or death, or issuance of consular mortuary certificate, visas for foreign nationals traveling to the Philippines, travel documents, and certified true copies of passport and dual citizenship documents and NBI clearances. Of course, aside from our consular services, we also continue to serve our kababayans, or overseas Filipinos in distress, through our Assistance to Nationals program, or ATN in short. This includes handling human trafficking cases, domestic violence, attending to the needs of Filipino detainees, shipment of remains, repatriation, and many more. I handle that with my ATN officer, Hazel Mendoza. Aside from that, we also have our engagement with the community as well as the implementation of our cultural programs. And I am assisted in that area by our cultural officer, Dolores Sales.
That is a lot that you do for our community, and I'm sure I speak on behalf of the rest of our kababayans here in Carson and the South Bay and Los Angeles area when we say thank you so much for everything that you do. I mean, that's like that list that you said, which I would imagine isn't even the full list. That's a lot of things that you really do in service of our community. Now, we are in a very unique time right now. Given the COVID-19 pandemic, how has coronavirus, the COVID-19 pandemic, affected the services and how you're able to provide them? The consulate does.
Under the new normal operations of the Consulate General, applicants can only avail of consular services either by prior appointment set online or by mail, depending on what service it is. So, part of setting an appointment on our website is accomplishing a COVID-19 health declaration form. To ensure everyone's safety when coming to the Consulate General, applicants with confirmed appointments need to register first at our registration desk located at the lobby. So if a client goes straight to the fifth floor, they will be asked to go back to the lobby to complete the registration procedures. So they have to accomplish the online health declaration form. This is for contact tracing and to ascertain that they remain in good health condition on the day of their appointment. So before entering the hall, the community hall, which also serves as our consular waiting area, the applicant's body temperature will be checked using a contactless thermometer. Chairs inside the community hall are also spaced 6 feet apart from each other to observe physical distancing. These rules or guidelines are all published in our website. So strictly no appointment, no service, no mask or face covering, no entry. So you have to come with complete requirements so that you don't have to linger in the office. You have to come alone. Only applicants will be allowed to enter. So non-essential companions will be asked to wait outside. So you have to come at the appointed time and bring your own pen, bring cash because we don't allow payment of by credit card. So you have to bring cash or cashier's check or money order. And if you are unwell, please stay at home since your temperature will be checked at the door. So if you have symptoms, you'll be asked to come back on another day. So these are some of the measures that we've implemented. This is also for the safety of our clients.
Yes. I completely agree. I'm very glad to hear that you do have, all these protocols in place, because, like you mentioned, it's yes, it's for the safety of our community, but also for the safety of this consulate staff. So just as a reminder for those that are watching that wants to conduct business at the consulate, be sure that you set an appointment online, because it's there's no walk-in anymore, and online is the way to go. Now, in doing what I do, Consul, a lot of people know that I do have a relationship with the Philippine Consulate, and there's two questions that have been asked multiple times, and I would like to to hear from you so that our viewers or our audience can hear straight from you. Well, one, again, during this current time right now, how has travel to and from the Philippines been disrupted? I know there was a time where non-citizens weren't allowed, and then where we're at now, how has that been changed from the norm?
Well, as you may have heard recently, there has been new travel restrictions for foreigners coming from 35 countries, which include the United States. This is because of the new COVID-19 strain. So under the new guidelines, again, we go back to the old rules that only Filipinos are allowed entry into the Philippines. That is why we strongly advise everyone to reconsider their travel plans to the Philippines for the duration of the travel restrictions to avoid personal inconvenience and as well as to prevent, of course, the incidence of the new strain into the country. So we urge everyone to check with their airlines first before booking their tickets, as information published today can change anytime. This is implemented by the interagencies in the Philippines. We urge everyone to check with their airlines first. Unfortunately, for foreigners are not allowed entry as of the moment, and only Filipinos are allowed entry into the Philippines.
So, suffice it to say, it's a very fluid scenario.
That's why they have to check the news, they have to call the consulate or check with their airlines.
Right now, in January 2021, unfortunately, it's only Filipino citizens that can travel to the Philippines. Now, actually, on that note, the other question that I get a lot of calls about: what is the dual citizenship process? I mean, how has that changed recently? I mean, is that how does one apply to become a dual citizen?
Yes, for a dual citizenship, as I mentioned earlier, you have to book an appointment online through our website. For documentary requirements, everything is also laid out in our website, but the primary document that we require is the birth certificate from the Philippine Statistics Authority. So if you have the PSA birth certificate, then what you need to bring is only that birth certificate and your US naturalization certificate, and of course the application form. So if you don't have your birth certificate, then that's the time that we require other documents.
So, birth certificate, naturalization forms, and then the application.
Yes, that's the primary document that we require. If you don't have the birth certificate, then that's the time that we require other documents and we assess. We need your birth certificate because, as you know, the basis of Philippine citizenship is through the citizenship of your parents. Your parents were Filipinos at the time of your birth. So if you don't have that document, then we have to look into other documents and check your Filipino citizenship. Some of the requirements that we ask is a voter certificate, since as a Filipino, if you can vote, then that establishes you as a former Filipino. If you have a PRC ID, since some professions in the Philippines are only available to Filipinos, then that is also a proof that you are Filipino. So that's why we base it on the documents that you present and we assess accordingly.
Gotcha. Now, if somebody came in, set the appointment, brought all the required documents, how long typically would this, application for dual citizenship take?
We do the oath taking twice a day. So if you arrive in the morning before 11 a.m., oath taking is usually done at 12 noon. So if you arrive before 11, then you get your certificate in the morning. And if you arrive after 12 noon, then you'll be able to get the certificate after 3 p.m., since you'll be taking your oath around 3 to 4 p.m.
Nice. So it's same day.
Yes, same day, same day processing and same day release as well.
That's awesome. That's definitely good news. Especially, we do have a lot of kababayans or former kababayans that want to go back home to the Philippines, and with the new COVID-19 restrictions, if that's the way for them to be able to go back, then I guess well, plus there's other benefits obviously for dual citizenship, supporting the country, right?
Yes, because actually, Fred, when the news that former Filipinos are allowed entry already, I think there was a decrease in the booking of dual citizenship appointments. But due to the changes right now, I think I'm not sure if they're going to file appointments again. But I want to inform our kababayans, of course, that all appointments are filled up until February. So we will release new appointment slots for March and April on the 15th of February, in the morning of the 15th of February. So if they want to book an appointment, then they'll have to watch out our notice for February 15th.
So I'm sure a lot of people are going to be keeping a very close eye.
Yes, because that will be for appointments for March and April.
Now, for for anyone that has additional or specific consular questions, how can they contact the Philippine Consulate? What's the website? What's the phone number?
Our trunk line number during office hours is 213 So that's during office hours. After office hours, we have two emergency hotlines. It's 213-268-9990 and 213-269-7852. For Filipinos in distress and require emergency assistance, we have our Assistance to Nationals hotline, which is 213-587-0758. If they require the services of Social Security Services, their number is 213-432-7402. And if they have labor issues as workers, then they can call also our Philippine Overseas Labor Office. It's 213-944-2599 and 213-223-1120. These numbers are actually indicated in our website as well. As an alternative to calling, we also urge everyone to click on the Contact Us tab in our website. We specifically refer it to the section that it services their consular questions.
Perfect. Well, thank you. Thank you so much again, Consul Dyan, for helping to enlighten our audience about the Philippine Consulate General here in LA and how you serve our Mabuhay community. Now, if you haven't done so, please ensure to subscribe to our channel, to follow our show and the rest of the content that we put up. So now, in closing, allow me to share today's penny for your thoughts. You can take the Filipino out of the Philippines, but you can never take the Philippines out of the Filipino. Salamat and mabuhay.